You are very welcome to this video. This is part 2 of probably a 3-part on cutting leather, and as you can see I have gone out and purchased a very cheap nylon cutting board to try cutting leather on. Now, last time we just basically cut leather in a straight line, and I found out that there were various things that you needed to know to do to cut the leather, and various techniques that you need to practice. Now, you don't see me practicing this, but during the video I just learn something and then I go out and practice it until I can do it. Unfortunately, this week it's been very busy, so I haven't actually cut any more leather. So normally I would practice something like so. For example, when I was slicking the belt, I went off and practiced that afterwards, and it's something you can do when, for example, you're watching television, although I'm not a television watcher. So I thought in this one we would look at cutting non-straight lines, which is why I have a number of items here. And the first thing is I've also bought a pair of dividers. I'll put a link in the comments below, because I think if you're going to follow an edge, for example, if it's not a straight edge, even if it is a straight edge, then it's probably a good idea to have a set of dividers so that you can actually follow the line of the edge exactly. So if you need to cut or sew or punch or whatever, so I went and bought those. Okay, and as you can see, it follows the edge. I don't know if you can see that line. I'll put it up there. But I just literally followed the edge very gently and I've got myself a line. Now, the big problem is, of course, trying to cut along that line. I would strongly recommend that you keep your fingers well away from the knife blade. So put the blade in and keep your fingers on the other side, and then very slowly, this is the first time I've ever tried to do this, very slowly cut along the line. And believe it or not, this is relatively easy to do. Now, I must remember to always retract the blade. You'll notice that I've only cut part way through, it's not gone all the way through the leather. So, and this is something I did learn last time, and it will go into the lessons learned. So on the second time through, a bit more pressure, and again I haven't gone through the leather, but I'm nearly through. And so this third time I should be through the leather, and I am in places but not everywhere, so it's going to take a fourth pass. Now, I deliberately didn't go to the ends on this because I just wanted to see if I could actually follow a line, and I've done it actually quite successfully. I'm quite surprised at that. That's the first time I've done that, so that's relatively successful. So you can see that this leather has been stamp cut at some point. That's what all these marks are here. These are stamps. I must remember to keep putting the blade away, otherwise I am going to cut myself, it's guaranteed. So I thought, let's see what we can do about cutting, as I say, around something. Right, now that is not easy. What happened was the knife blade caught. It's very difficult to see, but there are ridges, you might be able to hear them, on the edge of the coin, and the knife blade caught on those, and so you can see it didn't actually make a very good contact. So what I would recommend having, okay, and again this is the first time I've tried to cut around a coin, is that you use an awl to mark the leather. Ooh. Now you probably can't see that very well, but it is a nice circular mark. Now probably the best way to cut a circle will be to nibble away at the leather and do it in a number of passes. Now that is definitely not good, and I'm going to have to do a lot more practicing with that. I am. So let's see if we can actually, knowing that there is a problem, let's see if I can actually cut round the coin. And the answer is probably not. That's going to take me a lot of practice. The coin is just moving. I don't know if you can see it, but as I'm cutting, the coin is moving, and there are, you can see where it moved there and here, and not quite very well there. So I think it's going to take a long time for me to learn to cut a circle on that, which could be a bit of a problem because you need to cut edges now or trim edges into a round, but I think there might be a way around this. I should put that way. I'm sorry about the clangs and the bangs. I need to put something underneath or on top of the table to stop the vibrations coming through. But I think, going back to the subject, I think what you need to do is just take a little bit off. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Now it's not round by any means, but it's certainly not the shape it was, and I would imagine that with a piece of sandpaper or something like that I could actually make that round. So I would say do that, but it is actually quite interesting. If I try to use a coin, it's definitely not easy, and you watch them on the videos and they make these beautiful round ends, and I can tell you straight away it's definitely not easy. Definitely not easy. And even using a Stanley knife with a blade that hasn't been used very much, I'm having problems. I thought I would try one more thing, and that is, you notice that I've got the glass there, so I thought I'd try a bigger circle or something like that, and see if that's any easier. And the fact that, of course, the glass is, this could be interesting. I'm going to stand up for this one. Right, put some pressure on the glass. Well, that's not, for a first go, I would say that's reasonable. It's not, it's not good by any stretch of the imagination, but it is reasonable. It does follow the edge. Okay, so that's part 2 of the cutting video, and in part 3 I'll go over all the lessons I've learnt so far about cutting. So thank you ever so much for watching. I want to thank you for your comments, especially Andy. It's very, very useful to receive your comments, and I don't know if you noticed, I did try out your latest suggestion here, where I was just doing incremental cuts through the leather, and I did actually try and put a bit more pressure on the edges, so I need to practice that, I do. So thank you very much for watching. Any comments, suggestions, please leave them in the section below. I do find them interesting and I do need them a lot. See you next time.